Right, well, on the line now, we have a regular caller to the show, this special Eurovision Song Contest show. It's John from Basingstoke. John, are you there?
Hello, Mark. Yes, I'm here today. John Ashe from Basingstoke, that's Ashe with an E, and I'm out for a walk in the lovely countryside around here. Nice sunny day, green fields, cow parsley. Oh, and somebody jogging just at this moment. Not me, I don't jog, I walk.
That's nice to know, John. So what's your view on Eurovision then? Did you watch the show?
Eurovision? Yeah, indeed. Now, I've got something very serious to say about Eurovision. Right. Because, if you remember, I suppose it's not that long ago, really, is it? We've got Finland, we've got Sweden, and we've got lots of songs being sung, and I've got something to say about that setup there.
Uh-huh.
But that's not what I want to talk about today. What I really want to talk about today is the Coronation.
Right. Oh, of course, yes, because I was off the air. I've been off the air for a couple of weeks. That's right, John. I bet you're itching to say something about the Coronation. Did you enjoy it?
I sort of saw it and didn't see it. Does that make sense?
What? Well, you better explain yourself, John. Explain yourself to our listeners.
Right, well, I'm a bit of a fan of the royal family. Well, I'm sort of a fan of part of the royal family. I've always been a fan of the Queen, our Queen, Her Majesty, but I've never really been much of a fan of Prince Charles.
All right.
And so I like the idea of a coronation because it's to do with the royal family, so that part of the idea of that makes me feel very patriotic and enthusiastic. But the actual fact of it, when it comes to Prince Charles, I'm thinking, do I really want to actually sit there in front of it? So I turned the television on.
All right.
And I turned it off again.
Oh, right. How long did you turn the television on for, John?
Probably 2 or 3 seconds, I should think, and then turn it off again thinking, do I really want to see this man coronated? No, I don't think so. And I turned it off again.
Oh. What's Prince Charles done that you don't like then? I mean, I thought he sort of gives lots of money to charities and he's does lots of good work for people and young people especially, doesn't he?
You know, it's not so much what he has done, it's what he hasn't done. I mean, think of all the things that he hasn't done.
What? Like what?
Well, there's all kinds of things that he hasn't done. I mean, he hasn't been to the moon. He hasn't been, a sponsor of... Sorry, there's a lot of wind around here at the moment. He hasn't been a sponsor of scuba diving for South African children in the 1970s. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff that he hasn't actually done.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So you didn't really see the coronation at all then? Did you turn the television back on at any time?
I did turn it back on, so I saw bits of it.
Right.
I saw bits of it. I thought, well, I'm not going to be committed to watching what is effectively hours and hours of my life committed to a person who I think could really have done more to merit the position of king of this country, indeed of the empire.
Well, John. I mean, I suppose let's have some facts here. I mean, just the fact that he was the son of the Queen automatically makes him the king when she dies. Yes, so he doesn't really need to do anything.
Yeah, well, you see, that's part of the problem, isn't it? That's part of the reason why I'm a fan and not a fan of the royal family. I mean, we're supposed to be a meritocracy, but there you have the highest form of nepotism imaginable. All you have to do is to be born, and you get everybody at some point, guaranteed, unless you pop your clogs, of course, guaranteed to be grovelling at your feet. You know, when it comes to some weird Saturday in the late spring, in some unforeseen date in the future, you know, all these people are going to be grovelling at your feet, giving you bars of chocolate or whatever they do on that day. And, well, I'm not going to be one of them, you know?
So you didn't swear allegiance to the king, then?
No, I did not. No, I didn't. No, certainly not.
Oh, it's a bit windy there. Bit windy, John.
Pardon?
Bit windy.
Yes, it was a bit windy there. I'm sorry about that. No, I knew this was coming up. So when that bit came up, I happened to be watching around that time, I turned it off.
Right.
Because I thought I'm not going to swear allegiance to anybody and their heirs.
Right.
At all. Now, if I was to, I would say I swear allegiance to Prince Charles, not King Charles.
Okay.
As far as I'm concerned, he's still Prince.
Oh, right, okay.
Oh, yes, yeah. Well, I think I'm not sure the Queen... I think the Queen might still be with us.
Sorry, you think the Queen is still alive?
Well, I think it's possible, isn't it? I think she might be.
I mean, I don't think it's very likely, John. I mean, they have buried her.
Well, so they say. Now, this is where I want to come to another point, because I turned it on at a certain point, and I saw something through an archway.
Oh.
And that sort of, I don't know whether that augurs badly for so-called King Charles, who I still consider to be Prince Charles, because I saw, and a lot of people did see this as well, I don't know whether you did, Mark, the Grim Reaper. Now, what does this say? If it really was the Grim Reaper, I think it says something like, this man, who is really a pretender to the throne, hasn't got long to go. Oh. And the reason why he hasn't got long to go is because he is usurping the throne. Oh. Because his mother has not been taken by the Grim Reaper.
Gosh.
But is actually in a cupboard somewhere in Buckingham Palace.
Gosh, that's controversial opinions there, John.
Yes, it is.
You don't think it was just a rector with a stick?
Who?
A rector. A rector.
What would a rector be doing there? Shouldn't they be in a church somewhere?
Well, it was in a church, John. Westminster Abbey.
I mean, a proper church. No, a proper church where people go to sing hymns and pray and things like that, and not sort of grovel around giving people chocolates.
Well, or a verger. A rector or a verger.
No, you can see the person's got a cape and a hood, and clearly a huge sickle. So if you look at it, if you look on YouTube,
yeah.
Do you know about YouTube, Mark?
I do use YouTube from time to time.
Yes. I think it's you as in, anybody can use it. Anybody can...
Yeah.
There's a car going by. Right. Anybody can add their videos to it. So it's quite clever, really, isn't it? It's like television, like the Tube.
Okay.
But it's YouTube,
okay.
Yes.
Well, of course, Tube...
So you know about that?
Yeah, no, I do know
if you look on... Yeah, well, if you look on YouTube, it's not that I've put a video up, but somebody has taken a video of the television,
okay.
Well, of the screen, where it was showing that part of the coronation, and they've blown it up. I mean, they've increased the picture size. Oh, not blown the television up, stupid. And if you look at that, you can clearly... Well, actually, it's a bit fuzzy, to be honest. But if you use your imagination slightly, you can see that there's a long stick, and on the end, there's a sort of blurry thing that corresponds to the blade of a sickle.
Well,
now,
okay.
What else if that was just a stick, why would there be any sort of blurry thing that corresponds to the blade of a
John,
sickle?
So let me thank you for explaining the concept of YouTube to me. Appreciate that. Oh,
you're welcome.
So does that mean that you actually believe in the Grim Reaper as a concept then? Do you think that you will be visited by the Grim Reaper at some point?
Well, it's inescapable, isn't it, Mark? I'm afraid, we all eventually pop our clogs, and, I've not known of anybody, none of my friends or relatives has managed to escape. So I think sometime or other I'll be visited by the Grim Reaper, yes. And so, I'm sorry to say that to you, Mark, so will you.
Gosh, okay. So yes. I guess in this instance, the Grim Reaper was for King, or as you think, Prince Charles. Wasn't for anybody else in the congregation then?
Well, why would they come to that event? I mean, of all things, make themselves known on television to the whole world, and be coming for somebody else, some obscure young man.
Well, perhaps
in the middle of the congregation.
Well, there were plenty of old people there. Perhaps it was just the only time convenient for the Grim Reaper to come.
Well, it's the same thing, is it? Whether you're young or whether you're old. Or
I mean, have you looked at the stats, John? John, you're now let me think. You're a quantity surveyor. Is that right? Or you were a former...
I was indeed a quantity surveyor.
So have you looked at... So being a man of science, have you perhaps looked at the stats to see who attended and perhaps if anybody has sadly passed on since that event a week or so ago? Perhaps it was intended for someone else.
Well, I am a man of science. That's true. But I'm also a man of broader logic. So whereas I appreciate that you're advising me to look at statistics and charts and all that kind of stuff, I also use a rather broader logic where I say to myself things like, well, it's supposedly this coronation of this man, very famous event, and the Grim Reaper could turn up to some other event, something obscure, for an obscure person, let's say like an elderly lady who's about to pop her clogs. Why would this Grim Reaper turn up to this event? No, it's got to be for the person for whom this event is actually designed.
Okay.
Well, it makes sense to me. There's a broader logic there.
Right.
No, that's not strict, you know? It's not like 2 and 2 equals 4.
Hmm. So, what about, now you mentioned the Queen there, and the Queen possibly still being alive. Well, I think some of our listeners might have a view on that. But what do you think of the new Queen? We've got a new Queen, John. Does she replace the old Queen in your heart?
No, I think you'll find, Mark, that it's a new king. That's what people are saying. But I still think that he is Prince Charles.
No. We've got a new... Remember, we've got...
No, I know we're living in the days we're living in, Mark, but I don't... I don't think I've heard anybody suggest that he might be a queen. I think that's...
well, no, I was actually...
I think that's... Pardon?
No, sorry. It's probably because you didn't tune into the whole coronation, but I was referring to the Queen Consort, Camilla, who I think people are sort of dropping the consort now and sort of calling her Queen. I was talking about Camilla, actually.
Who?
Charles's wife, Camilla.
Yes, I know he's married. That's right. Yes, used to be Diana, and now it's what was her name again? Did you say?
Camilla.
Camilla. Yes. No, it wasn't her. I'm quite sure that it was him. And as I say, he's not a queen, and I don't think he's a king either. So he's still Prince Charles, as far as I'm concerned.
Right. So in conclusion, John, because it's quite a controversial viewpoint here. What you're saying is you don't like Prince Charles.
Never been a great fan. As I say, because of the things he hasn't done, really.
Right.
Not lots of things that you could do. I mean, it's called sins of omission.
So he's done. So you're quite happy with the things he has done.
I'm not happy with all of them, but I'm quite happy with some of them, I would say.
But
I'm not happy at all with all of the things he hasn't done.
Right. Well, okay, John. So perhaps next week you can call in and talk about Eurovision. Then you mentioned earlier on that you had, because this is a Eurovision show we're doing now. We're playing. Obviously, you've been hearing some of the great songs I've been playing. You can talk about Eurovision next week, perhaps, John. I think we sort of run out of time today.
Oh, I see. Okay. Well, it'll give me an opportunity to hone my thoughts a little more on that one.
Right. Okay.
Yes.
All right, John. So interesting viewpoint about the Queen and. What, is she locked up in a cupboard, or is she just living out her days in a cupboard in Windsor? Is that what you're suggesting?
Well, that was sort of slightly jocular, just a jocular terminology there. What really was inside my mind was something like a witness protection program. See, that sort of thing.
Right. Not
that she's a witness, but, a protection program. Not that she's have to be protected, but you're not protected from the media, I suppose.
With some sort of... So she's on...
Yes. A famous person hiding program.
Right. On her own.
Possible.
Yes.
Can you disprove that?
Is it possible, John?
Yeah, you can't disprove it, can you, Mark?
I can't disprove it, but I can probably offer... Give me 5 minutes and I could probably offer you 99.99% percentage reasons why that's not at all likely.
Well, I know the next thing you're going to say, there aren't 5 minutes left, are there?
We're running it... No.
There you go.
Well,
there
we
go. You see? See? Can't do it.
Okay. All right, John. Interesting viewpoint, as always. There's John from Basingstoke. Right. Before you go, John, do you have something you'd like us to play on the virtual turntable here?
Yes, I'd like you, please, to play Toast by Streets Band, if that's all right. Now, there's a bit of a story to this, but I'll have to shorten it, won't I, because there's not much time.
Yeah.
So this is from 1978, and this is something I used to dance to as a young man. And the reason why I want to play this is because I've had to go on a diet, because of my blood pressure. Do you remember about my blood pressure?
I think you mentioned it. Is this something to do with you going out in your pogo stick?
Probably. But see, as I have blood pressure. So in order to get rid of my blood pressure, I've been advised to cut out carbohydrates. And toast is a particularly fine thing, very fond of that. Had to cut it out. So, of course, the song Toast comes to my mind very frequently.
Okay.
Used to dance to it as a young man.
All right. Well, we'll play that for you, John, at the end of the call. Right. Would you like to give a shout out to anyone while we play the song?
Yes. Could you put a shout out this week for Molly and Maud, please.
Absolutely, of course, John. All right, well, it's lovely to speak to you as always. Perhaps if any listeners out there have a different point of view about the Queen's sad passing last year and the coronation of King Charles, then do drop us a call, drop us a line. All right, John. Lovely to speak. Oh, what was that?
It was a van.
Well, lovely to speak to you, John. Be careful out on the roads there in Basingstoke, and hopefully speak to you next week.
Yes, indeed. Thank you very much for speaking to me, Mark. Enjoyed it as always. It's a great show. Always great commentary, great music. Thanks very much for having me on. Speak to you again next time. Hopefully say something about Eurovision. Indeed. I'm very much looking forward to that. Let's see if it's as controversial as your views about the royal family. Aha, maybe. Okay, bye-bye then, Mark. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, John. Darren's Valley's radio station.